All right, looks like the stream's working fine. So welcome. Um, Quick reminder: if you go to our Twitter at Next Issue Pod, we are doing a giveaway for some digital codes for Thor #1 by Donny Cates and Nick Klein. Um, just go ahead and find the tweet where I originally did the giveaway. Retweet it. Uh, Reply with your favorite Thor comic, and we'll pick two winners by the end of the day today. And we'll go ahead and give you a digital code for Thor #1 by Donny Cates and Nick Klein. Um, I'll be going over that stuff today once we get into the pull list. So remember to go do that. Also, if you do join the chat, I think I see somebody in the chat. Let me know what you picked up this week, and I'll go ahead and get it set up, and then we'll actually go ahead and get started. You guys know I like to do separated by publishers. Okay, it was a slower week than normal, than most weeks. Comics did come out on the first of the year, so happy New Year, everyone. Hopefully you'll join us along for the ride for 2020. I'm very excited about that. Let's see, I will say there's a lot of Marvel. There's not a lot of anything else, but that's okay. You know, the end of the year was pretty heavy on other stuff, so I'll do one last tweet. Make sure to let people know we're live. Ooh, getting retweeted by Leah Williams. I just finished reading her Gwenpool Strikes Back miniseries, and I love it. And so I let her know on Twitter. So if you haven't read that, make sure to go and give it a read. Gwenpool's a really fun character. All right, cool. All right, let's get started. We're gonna start with the DC Comics since it's the one that I have the least amount of today. First up, Detective Comics. Uh, Detective Comics number 1018. It's kind of bonkers that there's a comic book that's in the thousands, but I guess there's actually two. I'm behind on this book, but it's something that I constantly like to keep picking up. I've enjoyed Peter Tomasi's run ever since 1000 started, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. Let me take a look at the credits and we'll go over. So I can't give you any details about the story because, like I said, I'm not current on it. And let's hope I don't get spoiled by going to the back. I hate when they don't put the credits somewhere easy to. Oh, there we go. Okay, so Detective. Ooh, that's cool. Uh, Looks like a bit of a winter Christmas um, issue. So it's written by Peter J. Tomasi with art by Scott Godleski, colors by David Baron, and letters by Rob Lai. So, like I said, I'm not very current on this. If you're reading Detective Comics, let me know if you like it. Next up, from the DC Black Label, this nice oversized book, Joker Harley Criminal Insanity #2. This one is written by Cami Garcia with art by Mike Mayhew and Miko Soyan. The art in this book, I will tell you this right now. It's amazing. Like it switches back and forth between black and white, and then the color stuff. Uh, because of the that's the way they're choosing to tell the story. Um, we we this book it takes place in a different in a different universe. So, but it's still about Harley Quinn. She's working with the Gotham PD to kind of find out, um, what's going on with this Joker character. And obviously, as you may know, Joker and Harley Quinn, they they just their stories are normally intertwined. So so far, I enjoyed issue number one. I haven't read this one, even though I picked up stuff. I was catching up on some other stuff. So, but yeah, go pick it up. Joker Harley, Criminal Insanity. I think there's only three of this, so it shouldn't be too hard. Uh, Before I go to our independent that came out this week, I actually went back and finally picked up my Folklords number two. This came out a few weeks ago. This is written by Matt Kent, illustrated by Matt Smith, and colors by Chris O'Halloran, letters by Jim Campbell. This is a very fun book. It's only five issues. It's by Boom Studios, and Boom Studios involved in like all these smaller publishers, and I say smaller only in comparison to Marvel and DC. Or at least their market share, but they're putting out some amazing stuff. Just really good stuff as far as the quality of the books, the length of the books they're putting out. They're doing a lot of miniseries where, like, 5 to 8 issues, they take time to tell a full story. It makes it a lot easier to collect because I don't have all this backlog of stuff at home just sitting there. I've really enjoyed it so far. I think I like to recommend stuff like this. If you like role playing games or role playing activities, I definitely recommend this. This takes place in a fantasy world where our main character, he wants to be kind of like he knows what it's like or has imagined what it would be like to be in the real world. So he dresses up in a suit and tie where everybody else is in kind of like medieval fantasy type of clothing. So it's about his journey there to discover that. I really recommend it. Matt Kent's a fantastic writer. Um, and then this week for our independent books, I picked up. Is it this one? Yeah, Death or Glory, number 8. But I also picked up 7. I finally got around to picking up 7 and 6. This book is by Rick Remender and the art by Bengal. It's from Image Comics. If you like cars, chases, stuff like that, and beautiful art, this book is going to be very interesting for you. I've only read the first 5 issues, which is the first trade. So I'm definitely looking forward to catching up on this. The story follows our main character, whose name is Glory, and she's just running. She's running from something because she got in trouble thanks to her dad, kind of. But I don't want to go too much into details just because I don't want to spoil any of the story. The designs of the cars that Bengal has in this, you can tell he's a car guy. Like the way they just kind of focus on the cars is very interesting. If you follow his Instagram or his Twitter, you'll see that he's always putting out some kind of designs. So Bengal, Sean Murphy does kind of the same thing where they're always drawing cars. So that's always very cool. Now, quick fun story before we get to Marvel, and I say fun because it was fun for me. But so this week, comics came out on January 1st. One of my one of my stores was not open on January 1st, so this week I've gone to 5 comic shops in the past 4 days. So on Wednesday I stopped at Titan Comics to pick up some of my books, and then I went to Boomerang Comics to pick up some of my other books like Folklords and some of that stuff. I also went to cancel something from my drop list or from my pull list, and I'll talk about that after we go through all the books. Uh, and you'll never guess what book I canceled. It's very, if you know me, you'll be like, "What? What's wrong with you?" Um, then on Thursday, I went to pick up my stuff from my normal comic store in Sanctuary. Unfortunately, oh, they got shorted on some of the X Men books, so I wasn't able to get uh, some of those. And I was looking for a specific cover for Thor, which they didn't have. Um, Titan, I didn't see it there, and I didn't see it at Boomerang. So I ended up going to Gen X in Bedford. That was on the first. So on the first when it was my day off, um, the way I started the new year was just driving around comic shops. So I ended up hitting three that day. And then on Thursday, I went to Sanctuary to pick up my normal stuff, which I'll go through this. Um, and then what was the fifth story? Oh yeah, and then on Friday, because I was missing my X books, I ended up going to Zeus. I gave him a call, asked them Zeus Comics in Dallas, off of 35 in Inwood. I ended up going to Zeus. I gave him a call right after I got out of work, asked them if they had the books. Um, they are very nice. I don't remember the name of the person that answered the phone, but she's very nice. Every time I'm there, she's very helpful. And then the owner Richard was there too, so they pulled him aside for me, and then I went right after work. So let's segue into the Marvel books that I picked up. We'll start with the X Men stuff since there was only two this week. Uh, Marauders number 5. If you have watched the previous streams and the poll list, or follow me at all on Twitter at Echo Spider, you know how much I love this book. I think this is definitely my favorite book from the current X Men line. This book follows Kate Pride is pretty much kind of the main character. She has a team with Iceman, Pyro, Bishop, Storm. They introduced the character. I won't go into detail, but then she also interacts a lot with Emma Frost and Sebastian Shaw. I won't go into the other characters that they've introduced. They've introduced two new characters since this book is written by Gary Duggan, with art by Matteo Loli and Lucas Wernick, Federico Blee on colors, and VC's Corey Petit uh, on letters. So, like I said, this book is a lot of fun. I It ends in a very interesting way. Um, the main premise of this book is that, first of all, Kitty Pride, she now goes by Kate Pride. Um, she she can't use the Krakoa gates for some reason. We don't know why yet. I mean, somebody may know why. I don't know why yet. I don't think they've said it on the books. Um, so she has a boat because she has to go back and forth with. So in the main story of House of X, Powers of X, and this is a very small spoiler that sets up this book. Um, they the mutants have they now trade in different drugs for humanity that will cure illnesses, make people live longer, stuff like that. Um, and part of this is bringing those drugs back and forth. But Kate's actual mission in the book is to find mutants and bring them to Krakoa because everyone is welcome at Krakoa. But the problem is that she can't use the gates in Krakoa, so she has to actually travel by boat. Uh, Iceman and Storm join her because they don't want her to be hurt and stuff. So they make a team to protect her and then protect all these mutants because they'll know she needs help. So yeah, I definitely recommend this book. I love the series so far. I can't believe we're at 5 already. It's ridiculous how good this book is. Next up, we have X Men number 4. First of all, this cover is everything. It's Magneto, Professor X, and Apocalypse all suited up, and this has a lot to do with story in the book. Um, this main X Men book, it's kind of the world building book. Um, it really interacts a lot with humanity and how they are adjusting to the new global situation with the mutants becoming their own nation of Krakoa. This book is written by Jonathan Hickman. This specific issue is penciled by Lionel Yu, with inks by Gary Alanginon and Lionel Yu, colors by Sunny Go and Clayton Cowles on letters. Um, if you're gonna pick up one X Men book, and I'm not saying this is the best X Men book, but I think this is, if you want to know the most about the actual X Men world, this is the book you need to pick up. This book has all the political, the political implications of Krakoa being its own nation. So if you're into that, like if that's your kind of stuff, like there's not a lot of, I don't want to say there's not a lot of action, but the main action here takes place with a speech that Magneto gives. And you know Magneto, he loves to talk. Um, so yeah, I definitely recommend this book. But then again, I recommend all the X Men books. So um, the Harley Quinn back behind me, she keeps falling, so I'm not gonna put up the poster. But I'll keep working on the setup. I think I really like it. I like having Wonder Woman in frame. Looking forward to her new movie a lot. All right, next up, Doctor Doom #4. This is a Doctor Doom miniseries, and I've spoken about this book in the past. Um, this book is written by Christopher Kenwell with art by Salvador LaRocca, Guru FX on colors, and Corey Petit on letters. Um, this book continues to follow Doctor Doom throughout the problems he kind of got himself into by either being framed or by destroying that satellite on the moon that created a black hole. So you know, if you like seeing Doctor Doom, and the thing about Doctor Doom is that he kind of backs up all his talk. He backs it up. He is powerful. He's smart. He has control over both science and magic, and that makes him really dangerous. But overall, in the stories that I've liked of Doctor Doom, he's only worried about the nation of Latveria. Like he's worried about protecting his own. Uh, so this book has two storylines going on. One's following Doctor Doom. One's following the events of that are happening in Latveria. So, like I said, I really enjoy it. I love La Roca's art. Um, there's a lot of characters that you may not think you have seen in a while, and they're probably in this book. So I definitely recommend that. Before we get into the big two books of this week, let's talk about Hawkeye Freefall #1. This is the variant cover. This is not the original cover. Um, this is a cover my shop pulled for me, and I'm glad they did. I think if you're familiar with Hawkeye, you know he has played a character also named Ronan. You might have seen Ronan in the recent Avengers Endgame. So it's the same outfit. So the story here is that there's somebody that is dressed up as Ronan, but it's obviously not Clint. So we don't know what's going on there. Um, I like Hawkeye books because they kind of take the, what do you call it, the slower, more street level path. If you're familiar with Matt Fractions and David Aja's Hawkeye, I definitely recommend that. So we have here. So this is written by Matthew Rosenberg. And Matthew Rosenberg is very active on Twitter. He's been promoting this book, along with promoting a lot of other books too. Um, so this is with art by Otto Schmidt, letters by Joe Sabino. The original cover is by Kim Jacinto and Tamara Von Villen. Von Villen. But I believe this cover is by Otto Schmidt. And like I said, I really enjoyed it. The other cover is cool as well. I don't have a lot of books with Ronin in them because I don't think the previous Ronin stories are as interesting as they've been as maybe this one's setting up to be. I will say I may pick may pick up keep picking up this book, but I'll probably just wait till the arc is complete to read the whole story because it feels like a mystery, and I feel like I would be going crazy waiting month to month. Um, all right, next up, we'll save the God of Thunder for last. So we have the relaunch of Star Wars. Star Wars number one. This is the premiere cover. Whatever that means. I just really like the transition from colors to black and white. This is. Let me get the credits here, and I also picked up a blank of Star Wars. I normally pick up blanks, like I said. I've said that in the past. Oh, here's the actual cover. So yeah, let me show you guys the difference. So you see one cover transitions to the black and white pencils and inks. This is the relaunch of the Star Wars series. This story takes place um, after the events of Return of the or not Return of the Jedi. Sorry, after the events of Empire Strikes Back. So oh jeez, once again the credits are probably somewhere. I gotta go look for them. Ah, here we go. So this and I know the writer. I really wanted to make sure to get all the other credits. This book is written by Charles Soule. Charles Soule is one of Marvel's most prolific writers. He's one of my favorite writers. I'm reading a bunch of stuff by him. I read all his Daredevil stuff. I read all his Poe Dameron stuff. Um, hey, what's up, Chewy? Yeah, Hawkeye, dude. I'll show you Hawkeye later on. One of my co-host slash friend slash brother, Chewy's on the chat, and we're recording our other podcast later on today where we'll talk about Star Wars and stuff. But yeah, I'll let you take a look at Hawkeye. But just yeah, I was talking about Charles Soule. Like I said, he's one of my favorite writers. He's taken over the Star Wars book with art by Jesus Saiz, colors by Jesus Saiz and Arif Prianto, and letters by Clayton Cowles. Um, the previous Star Wars book, the one that just ended at 75. Um, it was very interesting what they can do with the limited time that they have to work with because the previous series took place between episode 4 and episode 5. This one starts after episode 5. So obviously they have to work the stories in a way where our characters will be where we expect them to be before the next movie, right? So that's always very interesting. I think Charles Soule really knows how to capture the voices um, of the people of this universe. Oh, Charles Soule just finished a Darth Vader series that not only did it inspire a lot of characters that are now not only canon, but they're being used like on Galaxy's Edge, the park at Disney. One of its characters, Second Sister, is part of the Jedi Fallen Order book. Um, a lot of the stuff that he came up with in his books. Um, in one of his books, he pretty much explains how Darth Vader came to be, how little Anakin was born. So if you have not read his series, go read that, and you'll find out the real origin behind Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker. All right, the last book that I picked up this week and the one I kind of want to focus on is Thor number one. Uh, man, it's. I'm not gonna go into any spoilers. I have read this one. I haven't read Star Wars, but I have read this book. All I'm gonna say is I love whatever Donny Cates has set up for this book. I'm super on board with. I am super on board with everything he's doing. Um, this book it takes place after Jason Aaron just finished his run in Thor, which if you haven't read any of Jason Aaron's Thor, God of Thunder, Mighty Thor, where Jane takes over as Thor, The little miniseries, Unworthy, where that follows Thor Odinson, War of the Realms, and then King Thor. Like all that stuff is amazing. So this book, Thor number one, is written by Donny Cates, with art by Nick Klein, colors by Matthew Wilson, and letters by Joe Sabino. This cover, I have this particular cover is by Olivia Copiel and Laura Martin. Well, actually, this one's a blank, so I'll be getting a nice Thor commission or something on it. This one, this is also another premiere cover, whatever. But like I said, I like these because I like the transition from the colors to the pencils and inks. Here, I'll show you the original one so you can kind of see the difference. I know don't worry, I'm being pretty careful with handling the books. Although man, I can't see myself getting rid of any of these. So you see the difference, right? Um, I love the new look. He immediately kind of catches you up on what's going on with Thor, and explains everything that he's gonna set up. Um, Donny Cates, like he just gets it. Like whatever I like about comics, I feel like we have very similar sensibilities, or at least to his writing, because he just gets it. Like all his stories, I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna enjoy another Donny Cates book because I'm already reading so many, and then he just gets it. Now the reason I had to go to Gen X was because I was looking for a specific variant. This is Jen Bartel. She's an amazing, amazing cover artist. And she's just an amazing artist, period. But her covers are anytime there's a cover from her, I go kind of try to look for it. Um, she recently won a what's it called? An I Jesus, an Eisner. There we go. Sorry, Eisners are the awards for comics. She recently won an Eisner. I need to get some kind of stand so I can prop up the comic books while I talk about them. Here, we'll there we go. There we go. That looks nice. Um, yeah. So uh, this book is so good. You don't need to have read Guardians of the Galaxy that Donny Cates just finished. You don't. I don't think you need to have read Black Silver Surfer Black. Although I really recommend it. Um, yeah, and that's it. Like I'm not gonna say anything about this book other than first of all, if you want a digital code, go check out our Twitter, enter the giveaway. Uh, but this book is so damn good. Like I don't know how Donny Cates he keeps topping himself. Like I'm like, there's no way I can like a book anymore, and then he does another book like this. So I'm very excited. I'm really enjoying his Venom stuff, although I haven't started Venom Island. I'm still reading Baby Teeth, which is his independent work, which is about vampires in Texas. Um, yeah, so it's great. Like anything that he kind of has his hands on, I'll be very intrigued. I'll be very much looking forward to. I'm very glad at the direction that Marvel's going with some of this stuff. So, yep. So there we go. But yeah, look for this cover, Jen Bartel. Like she's amazing. Just follow her on Instagram or Twitter, and you'll just kind of see all her cool work. Um, Also, if you go to the shop, and this is the reason you should go to your shops, you get these collectible Thor cards. And here, I'll open them just for you guys. They're not pristine anymore. They're not collector's items anymore. But that's all right. So they've been doing these cards like to kind of give away, and obviously, you know, who doesn't love cards? So we have a Thor. Oh yeah, let me move this out of the way. We have a Thor card, and you can't see the art, but it's very small. But then we have Lady Sif, and Lady Sif has gone through a big change in this new book. So you definitely wanna look into that. We have Thor's crows, Hugin and Munin. I think these are the All Father's crows, so they used to belong to Odin. So you'll have to read the book to find out where they're hanging out with Thor. And then obviously Monir. Uh, so yeah, you get if you go to your comic shop, they have really cool stuff like this. I love going to the shops here in Dallas Fort Worth. I don't think there's a shop where I don't like enjoying hanging out and just talking a little bit of comics with everyone. I actually just stopped by Sanctuary Comics in Irving, just because I was in the area. I wanted to talk a little bit about these comics before I came to do this. Um, so that's it. Those are all the books. I do have real quick. Zeus Comics has, maybe they still have, checked their website. They had a 25 cent comic book sale. So I picked up some really cool stuff. I picked up what was missing from the Spider-Man City of War, 2 through 6. These take place in the universe from the PS4 game, the Spider-Man PS4 game. I picked up Age of Conan Valeria #1 to check it out. Arrow #1 to check it out. One of the history of the Marvel Universe that I was missing. One of the issues from Seven to Eternity that I was missing. I'll leave this till the end because it'll help me transition. Just a really cool cover of Power Rangers. I think it's 40. Yeah, Power Rangers 40. And if you're not picking up Power Rangers versus TMNT, you're missing out. I picked up 2 issues of Heathen. Heathen was one of my favorite books of 2019. And then I just picked up this really cool Wonder Woman comic cover. I'm not picking up Wonder Woman at the moment. I'm kind of trade waiting that. So there we go. Oh, and last but not least, I picked up 3 issues of Superman Up in the Sky. This is written by Tom King. And the reason I say these till last is because I wanted to transition real quick for the last few minutes of the stream. So I mentioned earlier I went to Boomerang Comics to cancel one of my books. Um, I won't be picking up Batman Monthly anymore. Now that Tom King's runs over, I feel like that gives me kind of a way out. And this is nothing against James Tynion. I love James Tynion's writing. I'm reading a lot of his other stuff. I'm loving Something is Killing the Children. That's the name of the book. Uh, I'm really enjoying that. But the reason I was picking up, and I've been picking up Batman since 2012. But I was a little disappointed with how the expectations that were set from DC, that we were gonna get 106 issues by Tom King, which there was no reason for us to know what the length of the run was gonna be. So they kind of set themselves up for failure when that changes. I think at least that's just kind of how I feel. Also, my collection of single issues is growing, uh, and buying stuff like this doesn't help. It's kind of grown out of control, so I'm trying to cut down. And I think I'll always read Batman. I just think right now was a good time for me to kind of stop picking up that book. I'll probably stop picking up more DC books as the year goes by. Once Scott Snyder's wrapped up on his Justice League run, I'll probably stop picking that up monthly and go back to either trade waiting it or picking it up digitally. If DC had the digital codes in their books, it would be no question. I would pick up a lot more books, but they don't do that. Marvel does that. That's why I buy a lot of Marvel books, because even if later on I want to get rid of the floppy, I can always have the digital version as long as Comixology's up or whatever. So DC Comics, if you're listening, if you're watching, just give us the codes and we buy the physical books. Like we're already going to the comic shop. I love going to the shop. I love supporting my local stores. I really enjoy that ritual of going every Wednesday. But there's no incentive for me to pick up DC books other than maybe a cool cover or something like that. When I can just wait for the trade, which it's a lot more compact because it's just a trade. It's a lot easier to store and to take care of it. So yeah, but that's it. Let me know. Let me know what are you guys picking up? What are you reading? What were your favorite things from 2019? we had we already had the next issue awards for 2019. We'll be recording soon, pretty probably next weekend. So sorry about the long hiatus, but we'll get back to it. We'll back to our cadence. So we'll be talking about kind of catching up what we've been reading, what we're looking forward to, maybe some of our favorite stuff from 2019, some stuff that we used to be reading. Um, so yeah, that's it. So like, subscribe, share, comment down below because I will post this on YouTube. These go to YouTube normally the same day, if not maybe a few days after the live stream. Um, I like to have those just for perpetuity's sake. But yeah, let us know, what are you picking up? What are you reading? What would you like us to talk about? When, like I said, we will get back to our normal cadence now that all the holidays are over. Um, I always want to recommend I Read Comic Books podcast. It's one of my favorite podcasts. The community there is amazing. I love what they're doing, and they have got some really cool stuff planned out for 2020. So if you don't listen to us, listen to them, but listen to us as well because I think we put a lot of hard work into this. But as long as one person is listening, I don't mind talking comic books. I love talking comic books. Hit me up on Twitter. That's at Echo Spider. So yeah, thank you. I'll try to keep doing these pull list videos. I hope you guys like them. I know the whenever I put them on YouTube, there's a few people that actually do watch them, so that's very exciting. We didn't. I don't think we had anybody still on the chat, but if you joined, thank you very much. And keep reading comic books. Bye, guys.